Perhaps the most notorious creature in mythology is the werewolf, a creature caught somewhere between human and beast. This figure has haunted the human imagination for centuries, and it is found in many cultures around the world. You might think of the werewolf as just a creature from horror movies or Halloween costumes, but its roots go much deeper. The werewolf is one of the oldest and most widespread figures in world folklore, from ancient Greece to medieval Europe and Native American legends. Different cultures around the world have shared stories about humans who cross the boundary between civilization and wilderness, whether by magic, curse, or punishment. In many ways, the werewolf reflects our fears of losing control, about what happens when instinct takes over and the animal inside of human nature breaks free. But not all werewolf myths are about horror. In some cultures, these transformations could be about power, protection, or even spiritual insight. In this video, we will explore how the werewolf has been imagined across different parts of the world, what it meant to the people who told these stories, and why this creature still captivates us today. Let's start with the most familiar image, the European werewolf. This is a version most of us know from movies. A man cursed to become a wolf during the full moon, roaming the night, driven by bloodlust, sometimes completely forgetting his human self. This image really took shape during the Middle Ages and Renaissance, especially in countries like France, Germany, and Eastern Europe. By the way, the word werewolf itself comes from Old English, wer meaning man and wolf meaning wolf, so it literally means man-wolf. In the Middle Ages, people genuinely believed in werewolves, and it could get deadly. In France, for instance, there were actual werewolf trials similar to the witch hunts. People were accused of transforming into wolves and killing livestock, or worse, people. Some confessed under torture, which of course only fueled the fear. What is interesting is that these beliefs were often tied to ideas of sin, madness, and the loss of control. The werewolf symbolizes what could happen if a person gave in to their darkest instincts, if they let go of civilization and gave in to the beast within. But the idea of humans turning into wolves goes back even further. In ancient Greece, there is a myth about a man named Lycaon who tried to trick the god Zeus by serving him human flesh as punishment. Zeus turned him into a wolf. That's where we get the term lycanthropy, literally wolf transformation in ancient Greece. The Romans picked up on these ideas too. Some Roman authors mentioned sorcerers who could become wolves through magic. Others saw wolfmen as symbols of savagery, living on the edge of civilization. In Scandinavia, we get the famous berserkers, warriors who were said to fight in a trance-like rage, often wearing wolf or bear skins. Some legends say they didn't just wear the skins, they became the animals. These stories weren't about curses though, they were about power, tapping into the strength and ferocity of the wolf for battle. There are also Norse sagas, like the tale of the Volsungs, where characters use magical wolfskin to transform and wreak havoc. These stories treated shape-shifting as kind of dangerous magic, something that gave you strength but at a moral cost. Now, the idea of humans transforming into animals isn't unique to Europe at all. In Persian folklore, there are stories of humans cursed to roam the wilds in animal form, sometimes wolves, sometimes hyenas. These beings were often punished by divine forces for sins or dishonorable behavior. In some Islamic traditions, werewolf-like beings existed alongside jinn, or spirits that could possess or mimic people. In India, while the wolf itself isn't the focus, there are ancient stories of people who could transform into tigers, jackals, or other predators. Again, it's tied to sorcery, curses, or divine punishment. Across the Atlantic, indigenous people of the Americas also had powerful shape-shifting legends. For example, in Navajo tradition, there is the idea of skinwalkers, witches who could take on the form of animals, often wolves or coyotes, to do harm. These weren't misunderstood victims of a curse like in European tales, they were malevolent beings, feared and shunned. Other tribes had more neutral or even positive stories of humans becoming animals. Sometimes they changed in order to protect their village. So the werewolf-like figure wasn't always evil, It depended on the culture. Back in Europe during the 16th and 17th centuries, there was real panic about werewolves. People believed they were possessed or had made pacts with the devil. Some historians think these fears were linked to real medical conditions. One theory is that some werewolves were actually people with hypertrichosis, a rare condition that causes excessive hair growth. Others might have had rabies, which causes aggression and fear of water, symptoms that sounded a lot like animal madness. There is even a condition called clinical lycanthropy, a psychiatric disorder where a person genuinely believes they have turned into a wolf or other animal. It's incredibly rare, but it shows how powerful this myth is, even to the human mind. Today the werewolf has become a symbol in pop culture, showing up in horror movies, fantasy novels, and even romance stories. Modern interpretations often focus on the duality of human nature. The werewolf is a metaphor for what lies beneath the surface, our wild instincts, our rage, our fear of losing control.